Okay. Test 1, 2.
Bah.
Ah.
From one of the streams that I'm watching, I've come across the greatest little bit of over-analysis.
Hmm.
Princess Auroria.
Princess of what?
It's a 20-some minute video, so it's not
Wait a
something
minute.
I'd put into the after party.
No, no, no. I think I mean I think I know what you. I actually ran across and I subscribed and I started downloading the entire channel afterwards.
Uh, by, heck, no, no, wrong thing, no, undo.
Let's see that.
Control.
No, that's Jolly Old Cinema. It was before.
Equestria Exploration?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Princess Auroria. I thought you said Auroria. You know, like Aurora
No,
Borealis or things like
no,
that.
Auroria, because she's just, just so much greatness in how they're displaying this over-analysis.
Anyway, I should probably warn you, we're actually live right now.
Oh.
We're not. I'm not doing a show per se. Actually, I just wanted to jump on, test a few things, and I
Ah.
was just gonna start randomly jabbering about this and that. Especially since I'm working on my little story right now. I'm kind of stuck in a weird place with, and I was trying to think of a way to bounce ideas off people without getting other people to start stealing my ideas, which is kind of silly because I don't think anybody would really. Or if anybody was, they'd probably end up fanficking it to death, which. But I guess we're all here, so well, I'm here. Well, anyway, I don't even know if anybody even notices that we're live right now.
That's how
I
well,
didn't
that's
see
how
it
I
go
noticed.
live.
Okay, I stand corrected. I doubt anybody outside of the person that I'm actually debating making a drinking game off of knows we're live. Anyway, so I guess I'll just throw it out here, and if anybody else is actually watching us right now or about to see us here, so I mentioned a few weeks back I'm working on a bit of a fan fiction here. I'm trying to basically I'll go ahead and get down to it. The whole idea is you have a pony going on dates with the main six. Of course, the whole point and reasoning behind all of this is basically it's to deal with basically kind of a latchkey pony in this case situation. Somebody who's never gotten out and about too much, and ends up in a situation where they have a desire to go out and meet somebody. And of course, being the kind of person, well, I get the pony that they are. They instead of just going out and falling flat on the face, as it were, their whole idea is to research it like it's a research subject, like it's something to study and learn.
So basically, most dating sims that actually make you put effort into choosing it instead of going here have boobies.
No, no. The dating sims, you still have the girl that you're interested in, and you still talk to them going on a dates. We're talking like base level stuff that most people would normally have some interaction with, like junior high and high school, or maybe even grade school stuff, where they actually talk to these people, or they actually know what the whole point of going out on a date is. I'm taking it down to the base level. We're talking somebody shut in, doesn't get out all that much, had no reason to go out, latchkey kid, anxiety driven insanity kind of stuff here. I mean, I'm also dealing with like levels of anxiety and depression, and there's gonna be a whole thing where he's basically battling his kind of like a dark alter ego self, verbally, of course, not literally. Like some Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of crap. But no. Any case, the whole concept is, if him learning how to actually communicate to actually being able to go out and meet people and actually work on finding that special sun pony from the ground up, from communication, from actually looking the part instead of and act, just essentially kind of I mean the whole idea. I think the title actually sums it up quite nicely. The whole idea is just, the fool's guide to dating. It was originally kind of like the fool's guide to dating, but I figured fool kind of sounded a little bit ponyish, more ponyish.
The pun. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Basically, the way I would write this character, as you said, like a field researcher who's going to, like, Twilight to be like, hey, I want to research this, and I want to use your group of friends as a test group to understand and see how.
no. If I do that, I immediately fall into the fan fiction trap. The horrible fan fiction trap where, basically, oh, you're just writing in yourself dating the main six. No, that's not the whole point here. In fact, the whole point is he's never going to go out with the main six. They're helping teach him, but at the same time, he's going out on dates with them to learn.
Well, that's the thing. You are falling in for the second fanfiction trap of assuming that's what the audience will get.
Well,
if you write it and clearly, explicitly say and stick to the path of he is just doing this to learn.
Well, I got that figured out already. I basically got that part of the story figured out. In fact, I got the beginning, I got the middle, I got the end. I know how I want it to go, at least in the way of his evolution, and how he basically fights and learns to handle. He doesn't exactly overcome his depression or anxiety, but he learns to handle it, which is the big thing about this kind of a thing. Depression is not something that you can conquer like weight loss. It doesn't work that way. Anxiety is something you have to... Yeah, anxiety is something you have to deal with every single day of your life. You learn to handle it. You learn to work with it. Maybe you get some medication to help curb it. But it's not something that you're going to wake up one day, oh, look, it's gone, like the flu. Unless it's, of course, there's exceptions to that, I believe. But for the most part, at least, with in regards to mental illness and things like that, that's not something you ever overcome just because you sleep well the next day. But of course,
fair enough.
Anyway, getting back on track to all of that, I got the whole idea down. I can tell you exactly what the whole point is from beginning to end, and right now I'm filling in the gaps to make the story flow. Now, I already figured out what he's going to do for the first part, and I figured out what's going to happen with the last part, and also I even figured out the ending, which I'm actually especially proud of, because I'm taking it a little bit different than what most endings would take, though granted, maybe a little tropish, but not quite. Anyway, let's move back on here. Now, the thing is, now here's the thing there. Now, here's the problem I'm having right now. Middle of the whole story here, he's got 3 different dates that he's going to be going out with Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Fluttershy.
Okay,
now,
so that means he's already done the Pinky, Twi, and Rarity one.
Not exactly. Pinky has her place, and I already know where. Rarity has her place, and I already pieced it quite nicely. And Twilight has her place, and also makes sense with how this starts off. My only problem is I don't know how to transition from the initial thing. Well, Rarity's a second date. I'll go ahead and go with that. Rarity's a second date, and then I don't know how exactly to fluidly transition from Rarity to one of these 3, and then from there to the next, to the next, to the next, to make it actually show a progression of character building, of actually learning, and as a logical step. That's where I'm getting that's where I'm getting hung up on. Now,
my headspace right now is saying, all right, if Rarity's the second date and you will probably throw in Pinkie Pie somewhere, I would go with Fluttershy next, since one, you could have her be interacting with Rarity before this character goes on the date with Rarity, and Fluttershy already knows and understands the shyness, and would be willing to help if she sees like his flaw of, oh, don't be quiet, try and talk a little louder, that type of thing.
So,
Anxiety.
Depends upon what type, where you have Fluttershy in the entire arc of Fluttershy. Is she still being very conservative, or is she actually being a bit more willing to talk with others?
Admittedly, I had this idea a few years back. I think even just when the whole Twilight Castle even started. Granted, this wasn't when Twilight Library existed, because I do recall constantly thinking, okay, we're gonna have him go to the castle library, because obviously the tree library no longer exists. That's never been a question there.
Take it from
anyway,
who's been writing since at least 2010 and Pony since at least 2012. You need to know the details, because in my story alone, I've had to go, oh, I'm writing this then, and people have this in common.
Well, I understand I understand the details part there, but yeah, the big part where I'm getting hung up. Yeah, Fluttershy does sound like a logical next step here. What I'm initially going with, though, is with Rarity, he learns about the whole idea of a date, of actually presenting your best self, and not just an attitude, but an actually looks. Because let's face it, if you go to work wearing a McDonald's go to work and wearing McDonald's, that makes it. If you go to a date wearing greasy overalls because you just worked at a car in a shop, or you're wearing your an apron and maybe a little baking outfit because you just came from a bakery. I mean, yeah, it'll kind of show you're a go-getter, but it also kind of shows you're a go-getter, but at the same time it also looks messy and crude. It's not a good presentation of somebody. Granted, you don't have to go the full nines. You don't have to have a tuxedo with a cravat and big sash or a giant flower, a top hat. You don't have to go like completely crazy regalia wear, but you don't want to be bottom bargain basement stuff too. At least not on the first initial dates. Maybe when you're more comfortable. Maybe about 9-10 in, you're just like, your idea of a date is I'm just going home, eating a pizza, and marathoning the entire Netflix of Castlevania. Then yeah, you're golden. But
so I'm thinking for the transition to Fluttershy is that he's going to end up. It's going to be more just a get together for tea kind of date, and it's going to be learning how to more or so interact on what would be more of a personal level.
That's kind of what I thought of. The three things that I thought of, at least for the characters, with Fluttershy, I imagine that her teaching, at least in regards to dating and courtship of other ponies, would that be dates don't have to necessarily be a wild ride or a crazy adventurous experience or very energetic. They could be quiet. They could be calm, meaningful, gentle, and peaceful. They could be something as simple as a gentle walk down, like a tea, like I actually mentioned, just sitting down, having a coffee or a tea, or just taking a little walk through a park. You don't necessarily have to go a big extravagance. You can keep it small and calm, and I figured Fluttershy would actually fit that better than anyone else.
And something that came to me with like Rarity, and it probably is just my head, but it would be showers, shaved, and suave. And I mean suave as in you look good, but you're not fancy.
I would be more disturbed if a pony shaved themselves, but we get the point.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Mostly just.
By the way, chat room, I do have you up here if you want to comment on anything here.
Yeah, show's in like 8 minutes.
I know. I know it's in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
We're talking about a story idea that I'm kind of stuck on how to I wanted to plan it out and know exactly where I'm going with it and how I'm going with it before I actually start writing the more details of the story. Essentially,
I would.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next flow of events, you could just do Rainbow Dash after Fluttershy because friendship is close with those two, and then to Applejack to have a less extreme Rainbow Dash kind of get together.
Well, the thing with Rainbow Dash is I wanted her to teach that a date can be an active, thrilling, wild adventure. It doesn't have to also be something that you just sit down, have a dinner, or you have to have some meaningful conversation. It could be an experience. That
She's
dates
taking you to basically a bit of a theme park and just rushing you through a bunch of rides.
a theme park, or maybe a big well, no, actually, now that I think about it, the nature hike thing would probably make more sense with Fluttershy, wouldn't it? Or would it?
Yep.
Nature is more Fluttershy's thing.
Yeah, nature is more Fluttershy. I was just reminded of Rainbow Dash and the rainy clouds thing from the camping trip, but now that I think about it, she probably wouldn't have been the one to plan that, would she? She's just kind of there for the ride.
Yeah, that would be more of a Twilight planning event for everyone to do.
No, well, yeah, yes, but no, because I'm talking about the one where they started with the legendary stories and they had the flighters. Those horrible abominations that I hope never actually come to a realization in the
like the image I did where you got bit by them and I had to put flighter ointment on you.
I'd rather have been bit by them and died. Anyway, well, I guess Rainbow Dash would probably be a little bit more like a theme parks or a wild adventure thing, but yeah, a theme park would probably be the most sense. But that a date doesn't necessarily have to be just talking. That it can be just sharing an experience with somebody in an incredible sense. It could be energetic and wild. Applejack, I was thinking more that even something where you're crafting, creating, just that can also be a date where I was thinking Applejack, she can build sheds and barns, she bakes pies and cobblers and all sorts of apple stuff. I mean, basically she's second to Pinkie Pie when it comes to baking stuff.
Crafting sounds wrong, but building and baking sounds right.
Crafting was probably a poor choice of words, but yeah, build.
Crafting works because you can craft a building. It's just called.
Don't call it crafting a building. That sounds so wrong somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Applejack, I think I finally settled on an interesting idea where they actually build a small house together. Of course, the funny thing being that they're actually doing something charitable for Ponyvillian. Somebody maybe lost their house because it's Ponyville, something exploded. But that was the initial idea I had for that, and just basically like do a Habitats for Ponymanity and kind of thing, and
yeah. Well, actually, that does make sense because doing that, you can go through what everyone else said. Like, you have to have the foundations of the relationship and build walls not to keep out, but to keep yourself warm during the day. A roof to make sure you're dry.
I think you're taking a little bit more into building a house like building a date. No, that's not quite what I'm going for.
House, it's going to be stepping in and doing a little bit of work on this build that's going to be taking a whole bunch of time with a whole bunch of other volunteers.
Yeah, the house is not the house is the means. It's not going
to be done when they finish.
Well, it's not going to be done when they finish, and it's not the means to basically teach him how to date by building a house. It's teaching him how to date by showing him what can be possible in regards to actually taking somebody out or learning to be sociable with people. You don't have to just sit down and drink a cup of coffee to get to know somebody. There it is. Thank you, brain. The whole idea with all of these dates is different ways of getting to know somebody, of actually being able to experience the world, experiencing it with other people. That's what I was trying to go for, and my brain finally added it. Applejack is the whole idea that charity, doing things together to help others can also be meaningful in learning about other people, ponies, whatever that have you as well. Rainbow Dash, the whole idea that you can do something fun, exciting, adventurous. You can have the craziest time of your life, and that would be an experience that would help you grow bonds with people. And the Fluttershy, that things can be calm, relaxed, enjoyable. And the thing is, I don't know how to transition from one to the other. They all make great sense, and they all work, and they're all perfect lessons. But I'm trying to figure out the growth. Though, granted, the Fluttershy idea, starting off a little bit slower, since he is going to still be trying to come out of his shell, considering that he basically is going to be early in the whole dating scheme of things. That makes sense. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Boss, if you really want some help with this, like bullet stuff, I'm willing to help with transition writing from one to the other.
Fair enough, but I just kind of want to keep this close to the chest for now.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just offering out help because as someone who is currently behind on updating due to work and household things and just life in general, I wanted to have my creative juices flowing and helping out people that are able to have that drive and be like, I can write a chapter a day, I can write a book in a month.
You keep your creative juices to yourself.
So, it depends upon how you're going to be ending off with the last date, because you could go from developing, coming out of the shell, to going to be with Applejack to more get out of his shell, and then go straight into Rainbow Dash, just going wild.
Well, then we have Pinkie Pie at the very end, if thinking right.
Pinkie Pie is going to be at the end, but not quite the very end. Admittedly, she's the one that ends up causing things to go completely futz, but at the same time, she's the catalyst to have something better happen afterwards. It's kind of hard to explain, essentially.
Yeah, but throughout this second, I would like to at least guess that there will be a subplot of at least another character that the main focus is probably going to fall in love with.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point is it's not one of the main six. I am going to say that 100%, not one of the main six. In fact, it's because of somebody else, some pony else that they meet, they see, they find, they get intrigued, they get interested, they want to know more, but they realize they have no clue what in the hell to do. Especially because nothing like this has actually ever happened to them before in their lives until just then. It's literally the case of being blindsided by life, and now you got to play a royal game of catch-up.
But yeah,
Is
definitely.
Is this going to be bumping in during all the other times?
A little bit. In all honesty,
I can definitely see them potentially showing up for the Habitat for Ponanity thing.
Yeah.
Potentially, yes, but
a whole wrench in that.
In actuality, potentially yes, but at the same time, the character is going to be around, but it's going to be more like a background character. But there's a reason for that. It's a whole mystery of who is this person, because that's the whole point. He's trying to learn about how to find out about this person, and that to actually get to find connections together. In any case, we're obviously we ran over here. We have a show to start, don't we?
We are at show.
Okay, everybody, we are.
All along. You should know this.
Yes. Okay, everybody, we're going to take off the stream here for just a moment, just so I can update the intros and everything, and we will be right back. So stay tuned. Literally, we will be right back in 10 seconds maybe. Okay.